step across this line. I dare you, motherfucker. Cross this one.
Electric sparking wires exposed. Skoda cuts deep where the truth erodes. Rebel in the trenches, voice explodes. This the HLS, the code overloads.
So now we are officially recording. All right. So yeah, y'all.
Hey. Welcome to the HLS Podcast, the podcast that never was. Late to the party. To that point. Radical Teddy and friends, even though he's not here right now. Her latest seduction happens like sundowns, hippies living showers, his longest speech. Name pending. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
And this is Electric Thunder.
Hey, we gonna duo. Dynamic duo. Batman and Robin, let's go.
Yeah, Scortawolo will be here in a few minutes. He's just running late. He had car trouble. So he'll be on the show in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's a Texas.
Yeah, man. So we just had
a Cadillac.
Yep. So I just ended up updating our software and everything right before the show. That was really smart of me. And so me and Rebel, we're like 10 minutes deep into conversation. And I think to myself, I should have just tested the audio. So I go back in, I test the audio and everything. And yeah, it sounds
What's
like
the update. We changed to something you never use just to get more money. Oh, actually, no, you did say the update was they put new graphical mixer.
That's not right.
Yeah, and a few other things. Oh, here he is.
No, we're here. We're talking.
Yep. Mr. Tardy
you did
himself.
It again. Every time you join it kicks off electric.
No, again? It kicked me off?
Oh, we lost electric again.
Well, they can't hear me, but you guys can. So I can say
hear you guys.
This crazy shit I want to say right now.
I can hear him.
Oh, he can hear me?
Okay.
Hold on. Let me hang up and come. All right. I'm back.
Hey, he's back.
All right. They can hear me now. There's something going on with your connection, Scroder, that you keep kicking me out of here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You took me out when you left last time.
Room
for two alphas.
Ah, that's the problem. It's a problem for Discord.
Wait a minute, though. What does that make me?
No, made up bitch. No. Oh man, wait a minute.
3 alphas. Skip over. Nah.
That'll probably make you the biggest alpha because you were the only one that stayed in the end.
Hey, last man standing, king of the hill.
Yeah. So what we were talking about the mortgages. Oh yeah, about like lending and everything. So you kicked it off talking about like interest rates and stuff like that. You want to go back over that?
Do I? No. So I was just saying that one thing that just perpetually confuses me is the concept of interest. Because I'm always like, there's finite money in the world. So, like, where's interest coming from?
Who said there's finite money in the world?
There's finite money. They literally just have to print more out of, like, thin air.
Then that's infinite.
Yeah, but then that devalues money.
That doesn't matter. It's still infinite.
That's
what doesn't change. That doesn't change its finiteness. It's still infinite.
That is part of where inflation comes from, is we're just going to print more money.
That is where inflation comes from.
There's also scarcity. There used to be an abundance of something and then there's less of it. So like now it's more valuable. That makes sense.
We got off the gold standard when? The 70s or something like that?
Something like that. We did, everybody.
When we did, everybody did, right? The U.S. the reserve currency.
Yeah. Let's see. Small research break. The U.S. effectively
changed recently.
1933 under FDR, Great Depression.
Yeah.
And was terminated officially by Nixon in 1971. Convenient Nixon.
What?
The final action of terminating the gold standard.
Yeah, 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever had someone borrow money from you and you charged them interest?
No.
Yeah, me neither. It feels weird.
Not unless I hate them.
I didn't charge them interest, but I've had someone pay me interest.
Likewise, I've paid people interest before.
What?
I said likewise, I've paid people interest before.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to turn down extra money.
Give me money.
But to that point, like, it just seems like a bad system because, and that's the thing. Like, there is such a thing as deflation, but in order for it to even come about, there has to be like a specific set of circumstances. That
why is it a bad system? Interest makes, within like the idea of a capitalist system, interest makes too much sense.
Somebody keeps hitting their mic, by the way.
I would say interest is almost an inevitability in a capitalist system.
I would say it's very easy to get to interest, but in the sense of that's like entering what's known as like the wage spiral. Oh, I need to buy more, so pay me more. If I have to pay you more, then that makes things cost more. So let me raise prices. Now, since things cost more, I need more money to buy things. So now I cost more. It's okay, so pay me more. And it just keeps going and going. So I can understand how it pretty much through multiple things, inflation is seemingly inevitable. But it is evitable in the sense that you can have deflation.
I meant specifically that interest was an almost not even an inevitability, almost like a requirement.
Well, in theory, there's an ebb and flow. There's inflation and then deflation, and inflation and then deflation. And like, supposedly deflation happens when there's a decrease in money supply, a drop in consumer demand, or increased productivity.
Well, can we get some flow? Because we've just been having a bunch of ebb, bro.
Yeah. In theory, that's all of this AI. Oh, we're going to have AI, and there's more AI.
In theory, I live in Pearland.
Huh?
I don't live in theory. I live in Pearland.
I see what you did there. But to that point, you could, in Pearland, have a situation where if the economy gets so bad, things can't inflate more because there's not enough productivity. I wonder, is that possible?
Things can't inflate more because there's not enough productivity. Then things will come down. It's all part of supply and demand, and you got to reach an equilibrium. And then
hyperinflation, right? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
We're not in hyperinflation. We're having high inflation, but we're not in hyperinflation. Venezuela went through. Oh, okay. Like countries like Venezuela Venezuela is going through hyperinflation, or has been already through hyperinflation, where like the amount of money they got to bring to the store to buy a roll of toilet paper is actually more paper than the actual roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, wipe your butt with the money.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. So they've moved over to cryptocurrency because of it.
Wasn't someone saying that a second ago that you can't have too much inflation? What was the point someone was making earlier?
I don't think any of us were.
No, we were saying like it's bad if you have too much.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we can get to the point where there's too much inflation. I was like, what?
No, you totally can.
I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, okay.
No, I was saying that there also is deflation. So, in theory, there's an ebb and flow. That's where we were going. But no, that ebb can ebb. Or more so, that would be the flow. The ebb would be deflation. So, the flow is flowing.
Flow is definitely flowing. And the past 2 weeks, I've been observing the price of gas every day. And every day I'm seeing it go up by 10 cents. And now in the past 2 weeks, we have gone up over $1 per gallon for gas. And like just filling up was pretty close to $50 yesterday. And I was like, wow, all right, it's getting expensive now.
It caught me off guard because there's a cheaper gas station that I usually see and its prices were high. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? And then sure enough, it was like, oh yeah, everybody's price is high. I was like, ooh. At the same time, I just bought an electric vehicle, so I don't care no more.
And so electric prices are super high because of AI.
I got solar panels. I'm going to be all right.
Then they're going to charge you for the sun. There's going to be a sun tax. Watch. I swear the moment they have a sun tax, it's insane.
This cloud has been moved over your house. Brought to you by Tesla.
Yeah, for real.
Man.
They were getting taxed and charged for every single thing. And then speaking about interest, if you think about, like, mortgage rates just went back up again after coming down a little bit. So people were seeing some relief, right? And some hope for home ownership there. And now they're creeping. If they're not back up to 7%, they're getting pretty close back to 7%. And a 30-year mortgage at 7%, you're buying the bank an additional house for the same price that you bought one already.
Tell me about it.
That's how much you're paying in interest. And I feel like that should be illegal. That's like way too much. Way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I am. I bought at the tippy top of the last hill, and yeah, I'm pretty much at 7%. Actually, no, that's not true. When it dropped, I refinanced. And it was one of those things where, like, when I'm talking to the dude to refinance, I'm like, this doesn't make sense because this saves me money, but it doesn't save you money. Why would you do this? And they were like, no, like, honestly, it's word of mouth. Like, you make a savings and you're probably going to tell people about it, which I technically am right now. But yeah.
No, but they also get to retain that loan.
Yeah.
They charge you fees to refinance. They keep the loan on their books, so they're still making that interest off of you.
Of course.
So they don't want to let go of that unless they can actually sell it off for a good price, or you are a high risk and they can sell it off. But since you're probably not a high risk.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was, when I first got it, I was paying it early. I was going to pay that bad boy quick. So it got sold to somebody else. Then I kept paying it early, and they sold that to somebody else, and I kept buying it, and they sold that one to somebody else, and then finally got sold to, like, plug for y'all. But no, they
it ain't. I'm editing that shit out. No free plugs. No more free plugs. We need our viewership. We want our money. Hey, we got high interest rates to pay off, high gas bills, too much inflation right now. Please sponsor us and help us pay these bills, y'all. Thank you very much. This was sponsored by the HLS Podcast.
Have you ever seen that episode of The Simpsons where they go to camp and it's like Camp Krusty, but Krusty's not there? So they change the video to say, and everything will be handled by Mr. Black.
You know what? I'm going to chop your voice sample of that right now, and that's what I'm going to insert.
Awesome. Mr. Black. Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Black Bank, or lender, for refinancing me at a lower rate so that I'm not at the tippy top. But to that point, man, that's what it goes back to, this whole inflation thing where I know this is one of those things where there was probably like maybe a good paragraph about it when we were in school, but I feel like it's one of those things I didn't really learn about. Or maybe it was just the fact that you're in high school, you don't care. Inflation doesn't officially affect you until you notice, man, this Happy Meal costs more than it used to cost. I'm getting less Happy Meals now.
We learned about it.
We did?
Silver Girl, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, and then talking back on like the whole mortgage thing and interest rates and stuff like that, that kind of makes me think back to like COVID times. And I guess the focus of this episode is going to be whether inflation is real or not, right? We see our prices get spiked and we think, oh, it's because of the economy. But like sometimes there's shortages. Sometimes they're not real. Sometimes they can be companies working together to hold back supply and inflate prices. There's a whole bunch of theories behind that. Whether they're true or not, we don't know. Unless there's like an
gouging.
Yeah.
Price gouging is not a theory. That absolutely happens.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep us safe from litigation.
Or worse.
All right. Going back to COVID time.
Podcast, the Habitual Line Observers.
Yeah, right. Like if we go back, like COVID was, I hate that COVID happened because I feel like that was the very beginning of all this inflation stuff. All this inflation that's been happening to us. home prices just shot through the roof because people were just trying to move away from, the inner cities, trying to go back to the suburbs and try to be away from people because everyone had to be locked in and people just wanted their space at that point. And it began the bidding wars for home properties. Then new properties that were being built, the price for lumber started shooting up like crazy. And during that time, I was working with a few developers and other real estate investors who were talking about how like lumber yards are holding back on their supply so this way they can boost the price of wood right now. And they're saying that there's no workers out there available to get to the woods to cut down new trees and stuff like that. And those were just rumors that people were spreading during that time. Whether there's truth or not behind it, I don't know. But it doesn't sound like a company wouldn't do that, wouldn't say, hey, let's hold back the supply. We could charge more for all the inventory we already have. And
I remember when I was building my house, and I built my house in 2021, and they were always talking about a labor shortage. I remember when I looked into it, it wasn't so much of a labor shortage, it was a wage shortage. They weren't trying to pay people. And so people were like, I'm not going to work this job that's intense, and I can work these smaller construction jobs and pull these money in instead of working on this big ass house. So there was a hard time to get a lot of the workers to actually work because the large companies were trying to increase margins and blame it on like COVID or something like that. So it took forever for us to get our lumber, even though lumber was still high at that time. It took us forever to get our lumber because there wasn't a lot of people actually working and actually bring it. And then when it actually did come, it sat on our lawn for longer than it was supposed to because they still didn't have the crew there. And I think the people that built my house eventually caved in and was like, screw it, and started paying people more.
Hey.
Man, that just
it's just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Yeah. To that point, I'm always amused when people are talking about, ICE is going to come through. I'm like, ICE better not. The whole economy here will collapse if ICE really gets rid of the people they're trying to get rid of.
Everybody's job is paying them just enough so that they don't flip the table.
Yeah.
I'm trying to min-max that.
Yeah. Oh, just so we officially say it, collusion is secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, usually between perceived opponents to deceive others.
Like and during COVID, like aside from like housing and mortgages going up, the cost of food went up. I remember there was what was it? I believe there was like a fire at some farm where they had a whole bunch of chickens and they supposedly lost a whole bunch of chickens due to the fire. So the price of eggs went through the roof. And then that was another increase in food prices right there, which I'm just saying, if there was a fire and a whole bunch of chickens burned up, like there was a lot of rotisserie to pass around,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. When I heard it, I was like, I don't believe this. The price of eggs is going up because of this. Like, why not just keep the price of eggs as they are and just keep producing until it runs out? And when it runs out, that's it. We're just out of eggs right now. You guys just got to wait till the new hens produce some new eggs.
You want continuity in that supply chain. You got to remember it's not just the egg. It's everything that brought the egg to you, right? So we were just like, hey, let's just stop. They're going to have enough eggs. I guess we'll just stop making eggs and just wait it out. You talking about like drivers, delivery truck drivers, people who actually do packaging. There's a lot of people in that supply chain that are cut out. And maybe the farmer might be like, I'll just wait next week. But everybody else would be like, nah, bro, like I need a job between now and then. So they use a legitimate claim about, hey, we have to keep this going. We have to make it work. So we have to raise prices. That's a legitimate and the necessary thing that they have to do. And then they take that good excuse and that good reason for increasing prices and then they weaponize it.
There it is. So, and then on top of that, during COVID, another thing that happened, production or supply for consoles for video games like PS5s, Xbox, the Nintendo Switch. During that time, if people couldn't get it because scalpers were using bots to purchase them all up and then selling them for more than double the price online. When the PS5 came out, how much was it? About $500-$600? and then you couldn't get one for less than $1,000 on eBay. Like people were spending $1,200 just to. I know somebody that spent $1,200 to pick up a PS5. They went and bought it off of someone. I swear, if I see you face to face and I have to pay more than double for what it really costs, man, I'd probably just rock you right in the face because that would just piss me off. Just knowing that like you're taking advantage of this. It sucks. But that was the time, man.
Them kids gonna have a sad Christmas. Like y'all gotta wait.
Yeah. I know I wasn't trying to spend that type of money on a PS5, so I was like, I'll wait, and then ended up building a PC. I wasn't mad at that. Because the PC prices were what the PC prices were, with the exception of the GPUs. That's when GPUs. I think this was the second time GPUs started inflating in price. The first time was just before COVID because of all these crypto miners, right? All these guys trying to mine crypto. They ended up boosting the price of GPUs. I swear, if that crypto boom never happened, if COVID never happened, and these tariffs just didn't happen, right now, GPUs would probably be like $500-$600 for, probably like $800 for a 5090 right now. If it wasn't for all of that. Huh?
Top of the line.
Yeah, for the top of the line.
Yeah, because you said 5090. So eventually, somebody's gonna listen to that and be like, 5090. Have you ever seen that movie Hackers when they're like, "Oh, it has a 28.8 modem. I want it to have my children." And he's like, ugh.
Yeah, what I'm referring to is the NVIDIA RTX 5090, and that's pretty much like one of the top of the line graphics cards for the computers that everybody's seeking right now, simply for high end gaming, and then also it's great for hosting your own local AI in your home lab. Yeah. And those currently run right now. So when they first were released about a year and a half ago, or just over a year ago, they were first released at retail price for $2,000. Right now, if you're trying to get one, you're paying over $3,500 for one. And that's retail price. If you're trying to buy it off of eBay, good luck, because they go up to actually, I've seen one up to $7,000. For the price of for the price of a used car, you can get yourself a graphics card.
And it's just like AI that's affecting that this time?
There's a bunch of different factors affecting it. There's high demand simply because scalpers know they can sell it for more online, because there is a shortage because of AI, and also because gaming enthusiasts who are into PC gaming, they're buying it so this way they could run their games on 4K with high frame rates. And Scroda, you can interject and add a little more to that, because
I mean, from what I've read, it's largely about now that there's competition in the GPU market with segmented, because before the only people that needed a GPU were people who were doing like a lot of like editing and post-production, and like gamers, right? Those are the only people who like really needed a high GPU. But now there's different factions now. You have the editors, you have the gamers, you have the people that are still crypto mining, right? That's still a thing. And then you have the AI homebrew people. And so now you have the market that's segmented, and you have these different factions trying to vie for the same supply that was once just available for two particular markets. Who I wasn't even caring about a GPU until Electric was like, hey, build a computer, and Overwatch played fine on my GeForce like 760 something.
I don't know.
Overwatch can play on it's really shitty GPU. Overwatch can play on a potato. And so the only reason I went ahead and got a larger, more beefier GPU was because I do editing and I do AI. It's just that now you have all these people competing. And just like Electric said, now some people are like, hey, I'm going to scoop all this up because now I have a bigger audience to scout this to. But again, the only reason why they're not just normally companies like NVIDIA be like, oh, we have a more market, let's just produce more and make more money. The only reason they're not doing it right now is because NVIDIA has, I think, what was it? It was a $20 billion promised investment to OpenAI. They realize that they have more of allegiance, and it serves them better to just focus their energy towards there instead of the consumer market, since, that's a better bet for them.
Do y'all think it's going to go back down?
No.
And that's the thing with, this is the thing with inflation.
Down like a little bit, but not a lot, no.
With inflation,
no.
I always see it like this. If people are willing to pay the price, why would companies want to lower the price? Even when they get rid of the tariffs, I'm really into action figure collecting right now. And action figures have gone up substantially since I started collecting in like the past 6 years. When I first started collecting, action figures would be up to $20. Now they're up to $37. And I'm actually pulling back from collecting because it's just too much money at this point. So with the inflation of action figures going up, the recent price increases, people are thinking, okay, I'm in a bunch of forums on Facebook. And a lot of the guys that are in the forums, I swear are bots working for the companies because some of the stuff they say is just ridiculous. Okay? You see prices.
Facebook.
This is on Facebook, yeah.
No, I'm saying you are on Facebook. Ridiculous people saying ridiculous stuff on Facebook is,
I don't understand the logic these people have. So you'll see some new figures come out now. They're $35, and some people are on there and they're arguing with each other. Oh, the new figure's coming out. Oh, $35. That's way too much money. Oh, if you're a brokey, then just say you're a brokey. If you can't afford it, then don't buy it. And I'm like, wow. Really? For like a piece of plastic, you're actually telling the company it's okay to charge me more money. Man, I would love to see those same people walk into a car dealership and try to buy a car and ask for no deal at all. It's so insane. And I swear these big companies are like watching these forums or probably injecting those as bots and just having people think, hey, it's actually okay to be paying this price for this. Also, with the figures, just like the game consoles, you have scalpers also. So these scalpers will buy up lots of toys, and especially like high demand toys, Marvel Legends, Deadpools, or Daredevils, and then they'll throw it on for double or even close to triple the retail price before it even comes out. And people are buying it up like that. And for me, I get upset when I see that because I'm like, guys, all you're doing is signaling to the big companies that they can keep raising the prices. It would be stupid for these big companies to not be watching that and not tell themselves, oh, a $27 figure, they'll be happy to pay $50 for it because people are selling it for $75 online. So, yeah.
When they say patience is a virtue, apparently it saves money too.
Yeah, seriously, it does, man.
That's what we did with the PlayStations. It was like, oh, they're scalpers hawking up the prices. Now we'll wait.
One consumer item I'm really surprised to see that didn't skyrocket in price are sneakers. I expected sneakers to be a lot more expensive by now, and compared to what they were 30 years ago, I don't see prices too crazy compared to then.
You think it's a change in culture? There's fewer and fewer sneakerheads in the new generation?
I honestly don't know because I really don't keep up with the newer generation as far as sneakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even Jordans now, like Jordans are not hard to get anymore. Like 10 years ago, Jordans were really hard to get. People were scalping them. People were putting them on StockX. I don't even know if StockX is still a thing.
Yeah, you're right. There was a whole stock market on sneakers.
Yeah.
Crazy. To that point, when you were talking about perceived scarcity, I'm always wondering, like, when, for instance, the whole conflict that's going on with Iran, pretty much U.S. just bombing folks, and then gas prices skyrocket. In reality, that there's no way the amount of production, like the barrels being sent, shipped, everything per day, were immediately affected. Like to Scrota's earlier point, a lot of this is, at least I assume, perception of perceived, oh, this just happened, so there will be scarcity, so let me raise my prices now. Even though the actual supply chain hasn't been affected yet, might not be affected in the long run, if things de-escalate and blah, blah, blah. But for this week, they're like, prices are up.
I looked this up earlier and I was reading about it. I'm starting to really not trust ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is starting to get biased. I looked this up earlier.
You're just now getting there.
I'm like, hold up. No. You know why? Because I never really Googled anything. I don't really like politics. I don't like looking into politics. I don't care about discussing politics.
But you like technology?
Yes,
We're
I do.
literally talking about inflation right now.
I know. No, I know that we're talking about it now. But before this, I'm saying that I didn't like to look into it. I really don't like to look into it. But then after reading what I searched, I was like, this seems a little biased because this is not what the news reported like last week. You know, so
what?
I was like,
what?
did you just reframe this?
The biased one?
Say again?
And you think ChatGPT is the biased one?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know who's the biased one anymore. We've been gaslighted so hard that I really don't know what's what anymore.
Depends on which news outlet you follow.
So where do you go for news?
Oh goodness.
Oh, I go straight to Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. I know.
The Daily Show.
I get most of my news from comedians, honestly. Yeah. I like the way they deliver it, and good editing. You can make anyone look bad. But like I said, even when I watch the comedy shows that report on the news, I take that with a grain of salt. I don't trust anybody that's reporting anything anymore. But back to what I was reading. Well, back to why I just want to state why I started Googling stuff, because I'm seeing no gas price go up, and I'm thinking to myself, because I don't know too much about how we make money off of oil, or what were the effects of the U.S. seizing the oil from Venezuela. So I started thinking to myself, how come gas just went up by over $1 within the past 2 weeks? We just got all this oil from Venezuela, but now the war in Iran is now making our gas prices go up. Why is our gas prices going up if we just got all this new oil from Venezuela? Like, we should be able to use.
So the oil from Venezuela is super crude.
Yeah.
The reason, a lot of countries that are very big oil producers don't have the infrastructure set up to do anything with the oil. For example,
refined.
There isn't a major oil refinery in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in the world. So Nigeria actually buys our oil from other countries, our refined oil from other countries.
There you go.
And what we do is we sell the crude to other countries that can refine it. And then we get that refined oil back at a discount, and then the government usually subsidizes that oil back to people. But some people like to pull back those fuel subsidies, but that's another issue.
So is that why everybody's worried about the supply disruption in the Strait of Hormuz? Because once it's refined, it goes straight through there?
That was supposedly 20% of the world's crude production.
Okay. Yeah, it says... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, because what I was looking up, it said that like 20 million barrels per day was moved through Hormuz in 2024. So I don't know if that number would be the same today, but that's a lot.
Yeah. So that's why people were the whole Venezuela thing stupid, because we're going to get all this oil. But no, we're not. No, we're not.
So if Venezuela was able to refine their oil, what would that outcome look like? Would it be better for the U.S., worse for the U.S.?
If they were able to refine their own oil, they'd probably be a more stable country, because then they can sell oil to other countries.
Now, do you know the history of Venezuela? What happened with them? Because they were a huge oil country at one time. And I forgot the history.
No, I don't know the history, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with U.S. destabilization. More than positive, because it's in South America. What else is going to happen?
Rebel, can you Google it real quick? And we could wait a second. Because we want to be able to say that.
Yes, I was right. Roughly 20% of the world's or petroleum liquid consumption passes through the Strait of Hormuz. That said, Iran itself, or Iran, is only 4 to 5% of the world's production. What's the new question?
What about Nigeria's? Look that up.
Nigeria. 1.766% of the world's total oil.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nigeria is frequently ranked as the 15th or 16th largest oil producer. I don't know how many oil producers there are, but that still sounds impressive.
Rebel, can you look up a brief history on the destabilization cause of Venezuela.
By the way, I hope they win the World Baseball Classic. Venezuela's destabilization was driven by a combination of severe economic mismanagement, heavy dependence on oil, corruption, and political polarization. Actually, yes, you're right. I do remember the same thing. They had super crude oil that they couldn't refine and made a bad deal or something like that, and got somewhat Tory relationship with other major players. But anyway, leading to a political polarization, leading to a humanitarian and economic crisis. The collapse of the global oil prices in 2014, coupled with unsustainable social spending, hyperinflation, and international sanctions, crippled the economy, resulting in massive debt, shortages, and widespread political instability. Yes, that's what it was. The type of oil that they were producing, they made like a big bet on, and so they started spending way more, assuming that their production would pay for their expenditures. And yeah, prices like dropped through the floor, and then they were stuck like Chuck.
So what I'm also pulling up is that during 2002, there was a worker strike, and Chavez was like, F y'all, and he fired almost 20,000 employees. So when you remove that many people who were experts in the fields, and he replaced them with political loyalists and people who would just be like, yeah. And that caused a lot of instability because it messed up like the expertise required to actually run the oil. And then from there, everything just started getting neglected, and there was looting, and yeah.
There are probably a lot more things going on. But to that point, to that point, that's one of those things where you have this destabilization jack up in the economy.
Ooh.
What?
So this is a little bit. It says the heavy oil problem. Most of Venezuela's oil is extra heavy, thick like molasses.
Yep.
It requires special upgraders and expensive chemicals, dilutants to move it through the pipes. Without constant maintenance and investment, these facilities break down, which is what happened when they removed all the expertise out of there. So the equipment and the machinery got effed.
Hey, man. Can't take away the experts. It's the name who Chrissy Nolan had. They got mad at the pilot because like they forgot her blanket or something like that, and so they fired the pilot. But then they realized, oh wait, there's nobody to fly us back to where we came from. All right, we have to rehire the pilot. Expertise, man.
What a bonehead.
She's gonna be in charge of some new made-up position.
Yeah. Yeah, and when the news came out, they were saying, "Oh yeah, she got fired," and no, she didn't get fired. She just got moved over to another position.
Yeah.
Or probably something with less visibility because of all the heat she was getting for her allegedly fraudulent spending.
But speaking of
banging that dude on a plane.
Oh yeah. Supposedly, allegedly.
Did you bang that dude on that plane? That is a ridiculous question to ask.
Exactly.
She didn't say no.
I'd be like, ew, no.
And then, it was a yes or no question. All you had to do was say no. So did you bang that dude on the plane? Why would you ask such a thing?
You can be offended by my question.
And by the way, her husband was there in court. If I was her husband, I'd be like, yep, I know what you did. You didn't say no. Damn.
They hold me in contempt. I'd be like, yes, she did. Yeah. We won't prenup. We won't prenup.
Yeah.
Who is that just got, they wouldn't sign a prenup, so they called off the wedding? I got to look this up.
Yeah, we got to find out who this hero is.
Dak Prescott.
Don't know who that is.
No, Dak Prescott's married to what's her name?
No, he's not. You're thinking Dak. I know who you're thinking.
Yeah, never mind. I was like, you better not.
Who is this guy?
He definitely, that was the come up for him. No, do not mess that up.
That's my hall pass.
Who's Dak Prescott?
I don't know why. It just is.
No, I completely. You haven't watched The Good Place yet. You should.
I have watched a little bit of it.
Oh my gosh, Chidi is my dude. Like, yeah.
Who is Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He and his former fiance, now nobody, Sarah Jane Ramos broke up supposedly after a big argument during their joint bachelorette trip in the Bahamas, but it was supposedly that she didn't agree to the prenup.
That's why you don't do joint bachelor parties.
Yeah,
dummies, you stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they still have kids together or something, so she'll be all right. But I'm verifying. Yes, Dak Prescott and his former fiance Sarah Jane Ramos have 2 daughters together. Yeah.
Speaking of the firing experts, have y'all looked at those depositions?
Oh, no, I didn't know they were out.
I just started watching them, like literally just started watching them. I don't know who's interviewing them, but it's people interviewing the Doge people about like why they made the cuts that they made. And oof, I made the cuts because it was DEI. I was like, what was DEI? Like, they're showing videos and stuff that I thought were just promoting DEI stuff. And I'm like what? I was like, there was a Holocaust one about these Holocaust survivors. They're like, what's DEI about that? And they're like, I don't know. And they just word salad and
awesome.
It was crazy.
They're pushing this critical race theory with their wokeness, and we wanted to get rid of that.
During these depositions, they really need to make a law where you can't start dodging questions, right? If you're asked a question, you have to answer the question. If not, you're holding contempt. There's so many times
so
there.
You don't like the fifth?
Bro, not if you're in court. If you're asked a close-ended question, you should answer it. No, let me shut up because that might bite me in the ass one day. Who knows? They set me up with a question that I have to answer.
Mr. Electric, I believe you are on record saying if you're asked a question
in your younger days, did you like, wait a minute, what? No.
I plead the fifth. Apparently you said you would not plead the fifth.
We have it recorded on this podcast that you recorded a few years ago. Oh man,
that you surprisingly didn't edit out.
Yeah, I'm editing that out now.
I need to see this movie Idiocracy, but I just want to make sure for any potential listeners who don't know what the Fifth is, the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects individuals from being forced to self-incriminate or testify against themselves during government investigations or legal proceedings.
Yeah, it's not just court.
Yeah, it allows a person to remain silent, refuse to answer questions to avoid legal jeopardy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. There are so many amendments. Which again, what was the question he was asked about? Oil. Who said oil, son? You cooking? Yeah.
All right, let's jump back to our conversation of inflation.
That's what I was going to say. It's funny how it always comes back to oil. And there was recently, before this massive jump up in prices, people were commenting on how reduced gas prices were. And it was supposedly was a result of 2 of the major producers squabbling. And they were like, all right, I'm going to just produce more oil and drive prices down, essentially drive prices too low for you to be able to compete with. Wait, there's another company that did that, where the way that they got into the market was they just lowballed everybody and drove out all of the competition. I'm trying to remember who made that famous first, because now people do it all the time. But
you said what?
Who was the company that made that famous coming into
I think I know what you're talking about. A Lil Flip did that, but I know that's not what you're talking about.
Explain Lil Flip's version.
Lil Flip had a much awaited and anticipated album called The Underground King, and he sold that album for $4.
Awesome.
Because he wanted to go platinum, and he did.
And how much was everybody else selling theirs for?
If albums at the time were going for about $20.
Damn. I didn't realize they were that expensive. I thought they were like $10, $15. All right.
What? It's cheap. A $20 album is cheap.
Really? Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I was in the store last night. I'm not giving out any free promo here.
Wow.
Give me money.
Especially not
them.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
it's not over.
And I saw they had vinyls, and I saw some of the vinyls $35, $30, $40. I was like, oh wow, the vinyls, they're expensive now. I don't know how much they were before, but I thought that was pretty expensive. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, man.
So,
Things will keep costing more. Yo, my whole thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pay off my house as soon as possible because I'm like, look, I don't know what's going to keep happening with the economy. So let me like be done with this.
funny that you say that. I did the same thing. You and I had a conversation about this, and shortly after our conversation, I set it up where I'm paying a few $100s extra more every month. Plus, I'm setting it up where it's bi-weekly. So every year I'm doing one additional payment.
Nice.
And my lender actually has it very easy for you to set that up. Like they give you the option to do it. You don't have to call in and set that
What
up.
property is this? Oh, you still got that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that the one.
That's the only one I have now.
Yeah.
The Philly
Yeah.
one is gone. I'm glad that one's done. That one left me broke.
Oh, Philly one. The Philly one is the one.
That's the one that wiped me out. And then I lost money selling it. I was so upset about that. So
That's my favorite way to
glad
do
those
things
days are
is
over.
Whenever you get, so for instance, if I cut an expense, put the money that I used to spend on that expense to some
On black.
me on some type of expense. So I cut one of our expenses for our house. So now I'm using that, not for our house, for our family. And so now I'm using the money that we used to spend on that expense to pay for the house. And the way it's going to work out is that expense is going to snowball. And then there's another expense that should be done in a couple of years. And I'm going to use the money for that. And overall, like adding all these expenses and just putting, because right now, whatever check I get, that's what I live off of. So if I start getting more money, it's clearly I was able to live without it. So let me put that to the house so we can be done with this house faster. And so overall, I'm going to wind up saving like $475,000 doing this. And the house will be paid off in 13 years instead of 30 or 25 because I refinanced.
That's what's up.
Man.
Hell yeah.
Trying to be done. And then I'll have all this money from this mortgage.
And not only that, but like you'll have all the equity that if you want to start a kind of business, you could just borrow from that and start your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I always envy your position because you were like, you have disposable income that we don't have. So I'm like, that's awesome, sir. Keep growing.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get here, and I'm getting even closer. I got just under 2 years left, and I start keeping a little bit more of my money. So when my kid turns 21, I have a little bit more of my own money. So that's gonna be good. I'm gonna buy me a Lambo once that happens. I'm just gonna spend it stupidly. I'm definitely not getting a Lambo. That's not the kind of car I would get anyway. But yeah, it's funny too because I think about it. I'm like, oh, when I have that extra income, there's things that I can do, but I don't think I'll do it. I'd rather put that money towards a business, and I want my money to make money for me because with the way the inflation is going and everything, it's actually very scary. And then not only that, but like with AI, with the trends of people losing their jobs due to AI and everything else. Which is another thing I wanted to bring up. I was reading how a lot of companies, you would think that people were losing their jobs to AI, but the data actually shows that people are not losing their jobs to AI and that AI is not where the promise was. What, like AI is not going to be replacing developers like they thought it would. It's actually creating more bugs in the code.
Crazy technical debt.
Yep.
Yes, it's creating so much more tech debt that like it's actually costing companies even more money. And the reason why a lot of companies were firing their engineers wasn't because the AI was doing their job. It was so they can, not all companies, but like these big companies that are pushing for AI, they were firing their employees so that way they could have more money to build their data centers. And right now it's biting them all in the ass because on the books now, their books are looking real bad. The data centers are not built. And now the investors are starting to pull away because they're just like, you know what? I don't think this is actually going to work for you. And the banks don't even want to lend them the money anymore. So this AI bubble might pop soon. So
I heard 3 months, and that was a month ago.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Everybody, just hold on tight. A lot of us might still be able to keep our jobs. And then now we're also seeing a lot of news about how blue collar, white collar or blue collar? I forget which one.
Collar,
is like service and white collar is like financial and people in offices. Okay. Yeah. So I'm reading a lot of reports about how blue collar workers might be the ones making the most money in the future because of white collar workers being pushed out by AI within the next X amount.
What should you do right now with what you invest in as far as like education? It's learn plumbing.
Yeah, learn a trade. And to that point, even with AI and developers, like they're finding that it's becoming more taxing on the mid and senior developers because they're having to, like you said, they're having to also spend more time debugging all of this stuff and then as they retire and quit and whatever, there's no juniors to replace them. So they're having to like try to hire back like crazy.
Yep.
Not to mention
so that 80%, 90, so I think it's 90% or something like that of projects have not seen return.
That is crazy.
Yo.
It's because of the same reason that we always see for every other emerging technology. People don't understand what the hell it is and how to use it. And they just say, oh, these people with the money, these investors with the money are like the worst because they don't know anything about anything. And
they just got money. They're trying to put it somewhere.
They just got money and like, I got to put it somewhere. And they're like, oh, that sounds good.
Yep.
It's like everybody's just conning everybody, man.
Yeah. And to that point, with AI, now you have all the regular folks trying to use it's like autocorrect where nobody was trying to say ducking. And like you have so many people using it that are like degrading it. Or even worse, it's like a Merriam-Webster where they put irregardless in the dictionary. And you meant regardless, but so many people have said irregardless that now they have to put it in the dictionary.
I lost you.
Essentially, the stupidity of the average person is making what could have been an awesome thing dumb because you're...
Oh, got it.
Yeah. You're flooding the model with...
Man, you saying irregardless, it makes me think about when people put nowadays, and I'm like, oh my God, it's nowadays.
Yeah.
I hate seeing it online. Nowadays. I'm like, oh, you're such an idiot.
The one that irks me is I could care less. And I'm like, that's not what you mean. You couldn't care less. Because if you couldn't care less means you are at the bottommost care that you have to give for this. You couldn't care less.
I never thought about that one. Yeah. I hardly say it, but I never thought about it.
If you could care less, then care less.
All right, guys. So just letting y'all know, it's now.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Like what?
You
a burger?
have to get better at segues. You know what? We'll play it. We'll play Overwatch, and it's late, and now you can go, and it's just a mood killer. It's a mood killer.
That's the quack duck of your time.
Yo.
Time management.
Oh, people be cooking, laughing. Hey guys, we gotta get out of here. Just be the segue guy. Be the guy that's like, man, you know what? I'm really glad that we had a conversation about blah, 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 blah. But now you clap your hands and say, all right, that was a good show.
Yeah. Also, to that point, hold on. If you're going to say it, are you hoping we're going to say our last epiphanal point? Or
epiphanal?
I'm sure it's a word. I do that. I'll take a guess at a word, and it's probably a word. But the point is, because I don't want to say a full epiphany. It's not. Anyway, the point is, are you hoping that we're going to say our last wrap up good thing? Why aren't you just wrapping it up in that? We've talked about blah, blah, blah. And then.
How did this discussion start, by the way? Because I don't know.
It started by you trying to end the episode.
Yes.
That's not what I was doing, by the way. I was trying to summarize the different phrases and how to say it the right way. That's what I was trying to do. Y'all just went crazy with it just now. Holy shit.
It is. We're like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yo, I really sat here and at first I thought it was funny. And then I'm like, wait, what are they actually talking about? And I'm thinking to myself, I really don't know what the hell y'all were getting at. And then That's what y'all thought I was doing, trying to end the episode right there? No, I was trying to summarize. Nowadays, I couldn't care less. And what was the other one? There was one just before that. I forgot what it was now.
Because you said that in the same way that you say,
it's been an hour, 40 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Because you said, all right, guys.
Yo.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. It's been, that's why I was like, I don't care.
37 minutes.
And with that said, everybody, this has been the HLS Podcast. Thank y'all for listening. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Help us out here. We're trying to grow. We got the website up at, what is the website, Scrota? So we can have people check it out.
HLSpodcast.net. Wait a minute. I thought you weren't trying to end the episode.
Hey, man. Sometimes you got to strike while the oil is hot.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, man.
Okay, he did a thing.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking genius.
You got to also ask people what their least favorite messed up phrases are or idioms.
And let us know, what other things we may have missed? Because we talked about a few things that have been crazy with inflation, but there's so many things that people are out there buying that we're probably not buying, that the prices did go up with. And let us know what those things are, because I want to rant.
Whether justified or not.
I love ranting about how expensive things are. I'm El Cheapo. So, yeah, y'all.
You're just savvy with your money.
So, this is the HLS Podcast. This is Electric Thunder.
I'm the Rebel Alliance.
I'm Scrotalola.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we even said Radical Teddy and Friends, but he's not here. His longest speech.
Radical Teddy. Hendrix.
Radical Feudal with Wiltshire the Fourth.